In today's climate, nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights today. Shoot better. Stay safer. Crimson Trace.
This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, now available on iTunes and other podcast clients, and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android. Feel free to call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN or 866-825-5486, or email Tom at guntalk.com. Now, once again, here's Tom.
Back with you here, Tom Gresham. Yes, indeed, Gun Talk. We're talking about guns. If you'd like to join us, 866-TALK-GUN. Get your range reports, what you've been shooting, what you've been taking out to the range, what are you enjoying, what have you been buying? Absolutely. And what kind of nonsense are you hearing from your friends? Oh, Obama isn't going to do anything about your guns. Hillary Clinton won't do anything about your guns, except she says she's going to spend every minute of her presidency working to change the gun culture. And then here's what I like. For those who say, well, no one's going to take away your guns. When she says there are too many guns in America and we have to do something about that, she's not talking about stopping the sale, although she would like to do that. When there are too many, what do? You have to reduce the number. How do you do that? You got to take them away. You have to connect the dots on these things, people. So she says there are too many guns in America. Really? Well, what would be the correct number? Bet I have an idea, and it's somewhere smaller than one, if it were up to her, except for, of course, her bodyguards. Well, one of the areas we watch all the time, because it's kind of the petri dish where they test out more gun control measures, is California. And the guy who's on the front lines there, Gene Hoffman from the CalGuns Foundation, joins us now with an update. Gene, what the dickens is going on out there?
Well, it's its usual crazy place, Tom. We've got a ballot measure potentially because, of course, the new Bloomberg strategy guide is to pass things by ballot in the states where you can. Now, the problem, of course, with that is that in California, everything they want is already law. So now they're thinking about confiscating any magazine larger than 10 rounds and requiring lost and stolen and all sorts of things. But that has now run into, this is a uniparty state. It is all Democrat in power. And it's now run into a situation where Gavin Newsom, the lieutenant governor, who's pushing that ballot initiative, has run up against Kevin De Leon, who runs the legislature. And Mr. De Leon would prefer to pass all this in the legislature. So there's some hope, actually, that infighting will destroy the otherwise likely to pass ballot initiative. And the other thing that happens here in California to make it extremely weird is that the reason most of those things in the ballot initiative aren't law is because our governor continues to veto them, Mr. Jerry Brown. It's a strange place, Tom.
It is strange. When we're thinking that Jerry Brown is going to be our salvation, and he actually has been several times, which is, you think, hey, you're the one who told me, he says, Tom, don't think about Jerry Brown the way everybody's talking. He's going to be okay on this, which you were right. You're always right when it comes to that stuff. I'm going to give it to you. Explain to people the challenge when a gun measure gets put on the ballot, where basically it depends upon how much advertising you can put into it.
Yeah, and it's worse than that. It's not just the advertising. The issue is that even in pro-gun states, like, for example, Arizona, when these ballot measures are marketed, they're marketed with sound bites that even many gun owners who aren't paying attention agree with, like background checks. Well, of course, in Washington State, where that was the marketing, it wasn't just background checks. It was now it's illegal to hand somebody a gun during gun training. These laws are often poorly written. They go way beyond what the headline goes, but the average voter has, 10 seconds to read this thing in the ballot box and check a box. And that's where the money comes in. As long as people are aware of it and it's marketed by big bucks, it's going to pass, even, as I said, in places that are, normally pro-gun. So in California, a gun measure is just going to pass almost no matter what they put in it.
And, of course, you have the constant drumbeat of a very sympathetic media, which is going to position this. Well, everybody wants background checks. I mean, even gun owners want background checks, and never saying that we're not talking about the kind of background checks we already have. We're talking about something else that we have renamed background checks, and that's not what it is at all. But therein lies the hazard of something going to the ballot. So explain to me this deal. Is this like the clash of egos between the head, the guy in the legislature, and the attorney general?
Yeah, it's the lieutenant governor and the head of the legislature, and these are the two up-and-coming young Democrats who are likely to become governors and senators in California. The power play is real, and look, those egos in that power play is frankly to the benefit of gun owners. And oddly, Tom, you mentioned the media. Weirdly, California has gone so far on this issue that our media is actually more neutral than I often see the media in what I would otherwise call pro-gun states.
Really?
People are actually willing to report these issues here.
Fascinating. So what's the game plan? Because I know that you have troops on the ground. You've got people in the legislature working it. You're working every angle, but I don't know that people fully have caught what you said. It really is a uniparty state. It's a single-party state. The Democrats control the legislature to the point where they have the supermajority. They don't even have to acknowledge the Republicans, do they?
Yeah, once in a while that flips back and forth. I think right now the Republicans have like a seat to keep them out of the supermajority, but I think even that may change in the current election. So it's that much of a Democrat control. Now, internal to the Democrat Party, and this is kind of to your question, how do you handle all this? There are a lot of very purple counties in California. People think of California and they look to L.A. or San Francisco, but when you go to the Central Valley or this area that they call the state of Jefferson, it is cattle country. It is absolutely as ranch specific as you'd expect it to be. Some obscene amount of all agriculture comes out of the Central Valley here in California. Mm-hmm. Those Democrats are relatively pro-gun, or at least have to be, because otherwise they'll be subbed out for another Democrat who wouldn't vote against gun rights because the local ranchers want their guns.
Okay. So you're working that angle, obviously. I'm always trying to find a way to explain what's going on there. And I got to tell you, Gene, from sitting this far away and looking at it, it just seems overwhelming what you're having to deal with.
Yeah, the thing that's interesting here is that the governor puts a major check on all of this. The way he somewhat does this is the governor tends to express his displeasure with bills through what they cost. And, the California budget has been a notoriously bad thing. People remember how bad it got. That has caused a lot of what the gun control crowd's best pet projects to die because they're so expensive to implement. I mean, for example, if this ballot measure were to pass, the confiscation of every magazine larger than 10 rounds in California, that is a large taking. It is not a small amount of money that California is likely to have to pay out to gun owners. And
they have to pay
it's not
to
the
get
only
them.
place where that happens.
Right. Okay, so we're talking tens of millions, and if you just put an average price of $10 on each one, so there's 100 million, maybe $500 million by the time you're done.
That's correct. And that, is before you talk about what they're going to spend in defending these things in court. And then, the other things they want to do around, for example, ammunition background checks and, the lost and stolen reporting. The ammunition background checks, a whole new system. It starts to make the cost of owning a gun prohibitively expensive. And that's the other thing that's happening here is that California's regulatory environment is so strict that it starts to contradict itself. We won a court case against the California state government. The CalGuns Foundation sued and said that, having registration of firearms and requiring me to wait 10 days when I already own a firearm doesn't make any logical sense, much less constitutional sense. It's those kinds of interactions that are now getting difficult. I mean, a great example of something Mr. Brown did for gun owners was he vetoed the ban on all semi-automatic rifles. And, confidentially, my sense of it is that he was worried that it was going to set up a test case for real. Instead of talking about assault weapons, we'd be talking about all semi-automatic rifles. And that's, even as unfriendly as the Ninth Circuit is to us often, a great test case for us.
Okay. Well, of course, I mean, I know you work that side of the fence too, the whole litigation side. And now, as you look at the Supreme Court, which is going to take me to the election, a lot of the plans, we will take this, we'll start here, and we're going to get to the Supreme Court. It's got to be a different roadmap now. It's got to be strange looking.
Well, look, it all depends on what we all vote for president at November. If we are able to know that a Scalia-like vote returns in the 5-4, then things like the overturning of, well, at least the sending back Massachusetts stun gun ban that just happened right after Scalia's death, point to a Supreme Court that's going to take the Second Amendment seriously. However, if someone like Hillary were to win, we're very unlikely to have a Supreme Court that will take another gun case in, at least 10 years. It's going to have a very significant impact to, the way we defeat these things and the way we advance gun owners' rights in all 50 states.
Okay, one last thing then. What I have been saying, and as you'll bounce it off of you, I'm not trying to put you in a box, but basically I've been saying, look, I don't care if Daffy Duck is the Republican nominee. You can't allow the Democrat, either of them, and it's going to be Hillary. You can't allow Hillary in there because, for me, the beginning, the middle, and the end of this is the Supreme Court, and that's all it is. And I don't care if I like Michael Bain. He says, I don't care if they run the winner of the Westminster Kennel Club contest. I will vote for that entity if it's a Republican, just because of the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I certainly don't want to get into the Republican internecine, debate, but it absolutely cannot be Hillary appointing that fifth Supreme Court justice. There is a outside chance, kind of like the chance you get struck by lightning, that you could get a pro-gun Democratic appointee. But again, we don't want to bet our rights on getting struck by lightning.
There you go. Gene, thank you so much. Tell them where they can get information about CalGuns Foundation.
CalGunsFoundation.org.
There you go, CalGunsFoundation.org. If you're in California, you're not a part of that, you need to get on board. Simple as that. Gene, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, you take care. All right, open lines for you, 866-TALK-GUN. Your range reports. And here's the deal. Hurricane is coming. Storm is coming. It's evacuation time. You get to take 2 guns with you. What are you going to take?
Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently. When it comes to personal protection, nothing beats a Bodyguard. Choose the lightweight, compact, and concealable Bodyguard 380 pistol or the Bodyguard 38 revolver, both with a built-in laser sight. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
What's important in a gun safe? Security, reliability, safety, good looks? It all comes down to quality. Quality that's built in from the beginning. Liberty Safe has made quality products for 29 years right here in the USA. Trust your guns, your valuables, and your safety to Liberty Safe. Did you ever regret buying quality? I didn't think so. Get the best. Whatever your budget, get a Liberty Safe. LibertySafe.com.
You like free stuff, right? You like good deals, and you want more guns, ammo, and accessories. So get all of that with the free, yes, the free smartphone app, Gun Dealio. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you'll get special offers and deals when you walk into a gun store. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Who wouldn't want that? Gun Dealio at the App Store and Google Play. GunDealio.com.
Every crossbreed holster is handmade based on the design invented by our founder. A Kydex pocket molded around your gun for perfect retention. leather backing for comfort, specially designed clips allow you to tuck in your shirt for complete concealment, the highest quality mag carriers, and belts sturdy enough to hold any gun. Our holsters come with a lifetime warranty and 2-week try-it-free guarantee. Crossbreed. Conceal and carry the cross. CrossbreedHolsters.com.
All right, back with the 866 Talk Gun. We'll get you in. I mentioned that we got the $20 bill changing Harriet Tubman. Let's see, a Republican gun owner, concealed carry person. That'll work. We got no problem with that. Hillary Clinton. Too many guns in American homes. Quote, when it comes to guns, we have just too many guns. On the streets, in our homes, in our neighborhoods, she said. And you know, there's been a lot of talk in this campaign, in the primary campaign, about the power of certain interests in our country. And we do have a bunch of powerful interests, make no mistake about it. But there's no more powerful gun lobby than the gun lobby. That's because, Mrs. Clinton, it is a civil rights organization. Yes, I said it. The NRA is a civil rights organization. It protects our constitutional rights. There actually, consider this, there actually is a bit of linkage, if you will, between Harriet Tubman and the NRA. Slavery may be one of the most heinous acts that humans engage in. Slavery is one of the worst things ever. It's right in there with genocide. Many would say in some forms it's actually worse. Slaves can't own guns. The reason that the Supreme Court ruled many, many years ago that blacks in America are human, have rights, is because the opposite view was we cannot allow blacks to have rights. We cannot allow them to have any standing, because if we did, that would mean they get to own guns. At its core, gun control is racist. At its historical core in the United States, gun control laws came out of attempts to keep guns out of the hands of black Americans. And here we have an anti-slavery activist who put her life on the line, carried a gun to protect herself and those she was helping. And I would offer a thought to you. As long as we have guns, we will not have slavery. Too much? What do you think? Line 2, Billy's with us out of Mississippi. Hey, Billy, thanks for your patience.
Hey, Tom, I really want to say how much I enjoy your show every week. I listen to it on podcast as I'm going back and forth to work, and it's great.
Thank you.
I got a range report, and then I got a question for you. The range report might be a first. It's on a Red Ryder BB gun.
No, really?
Yes. Now, yesterday or this past weekend, we had our grandson with us, and we had bought him a little butt Daisy BB gun about a year ago, and over the past couple of months, we've been working with him. He got that little watermelon target that when you shoot it, it bleeds, and then we upgraded and got these little round discs that you shoot with it, and they come out of a little thing. But he got tired of that, and he suggested that we just walk around the yard and out in the pasture and just to shoot whatever we could find to shoot. And so we also happen to have 2 Red Ryder BB guns for our other 2 grandkids. We had never shot them. We had so much fun shooting anything from little apples and pears to gourds, crab apples, and you name it. We just had a tremendous time. And that Red Ryder is extremely accurate. It has a little bit more power than I thought it would. So I thought I'd let you know about that day.
Well, that is an absolute first, Billy. A range report on a Red Ryder. What you're telling me is that they are just as much fun to shoot today as they were when you were a kid.
Oh, yeah. You can see the trajectory. I mean, it's great. Right. And as long as the wind's not blowing, it goes where you point it.
I tell you, two quick things, and then we'll get to your question. When I was growing up, we lived on a lake, and we would hang a tin can from a string, from a limb in front of the lake, and I'd hit it, shoot it, start it swinging, then I would shoot at this swinging can back and forth with the BBs going out into the lake, and that way you could kind of see. But being able to see the BB in flight was so helpful at figuring out how to hit moving targets, because you could just say, okay, I got to lead a little more. I can see where the BB's going. It was terrific. And then the other one is my dad would buy BBs by the case. He would go down to the local hardware distributor, not the store, but the distributor, and get them by the case. And I think I wore out 2 or 3 of the Daisy Model 25, that slide action. They're really something. So fun. All right, so you got a question about, you want to hunt with a suppressor? What are you doing here?
Well, I want to get a new gun, and the gun that I have in mind is a gun that I want to use for deer hunting, and I want it to be suppressed. I want it to have a range of about 200 yards. That'd be my longest shot, and I want to know what would be a good caliber and type of gun, and also what is a good suppressor. Okay.
One quick question for you. Do you want it to be absolutely silent? We can't do that because we're probably going to want to be hypersonic. Is it okay if it's just quieter than a regular gun?
Just quieter, because hypersonic, I looked at the 300 Blackout, and it doesn't have enough punch to it to do much to a deer beyond about 50 yards.
I got a suggestion. It's going to be easy. I'm going to suggest you go with a 223, like an AR-15. Easy to suppress, lots of suppressors out there. SIG's making really good suppressors now. A lot of people are, but I would look at the SIG suppressors. A 223 with good bullets. Now make sure you get ammo that the bullets are made for hunting, and there are a lot of those now, and not like just range ammo or varmint bullets. Excellent 200, even out to 300-yard deer gun. Not a problem at all with that. So I'd go 223 suppressed, AR, call it good.
Want your opinion to make a difference? Log on to our website and take the Gun Talk poll, www.guntalk.com. Now, once again, opinion page regular contributor for the Washington Times, here's Tom.
All right, back with the 866 Talk Gun. Just dial 1 Tom Talk Gun. It's easier that way. Jean did exactly that. She's calling out of Houston on 3. Hello, Jean.
Hello, and I'm not out of Houston. I'm out of Sinton, but close to it.
Oh. Okay, good deal.
Okay. What I called about is every time I hear Hillary and now her daughter talking about guns, does that woman go anywhere without security?
No, she hasn't in 3 decades.
And would you not think that her security would be armed?
Yeah.
So what makes her and hers more important than me and mine? And I wish somebody would ask her that, because I'm sure the answer would just dazzle you.
What do you think, if assuming you could get, say, a reporter in an interview to say, your bodyguards have guns, why is your life more important than other people's lives? What do you think her answer would be?
It would just be dazzling. I mean, she's so important. Somebody's got to be able to take care of us dumb people. I can't see where she would have a legitimate reason. It's because
of course, she would come back with, she would say, well, of course, they're trained. You go, okay, I can't have Secret Service, so I can't do that. But I train, I practice, I go get lessons, and say, here's the thing. And I would say, okay, so say there's a woman out there, and she's not really as good as a Secret Service agent. Should she be required to be raped? Should she die because you don't think she's worthy or has enough training, or or you just don't like the quote unquote gun culture?
How could she answer that though? No matter what she said would make her look bad.
The problem, of course, is the problem is that the media is so fawning over her. No one would ever ask her that type of question. And you know why? And here's the dirty little secret. Is because if the media ask her a hard question, she will blackball them and they will not get another interview with her, not only during the campaign, but if she gets elected, during her entire time at the White House, that reporter would be banned forever. She is that vindictive. I mean, we know, if we know nothing else, we know how vindictive she is. And that's not me saying that. All you have to do is read one of dozens of books about the Clinton Camelot, if you will. But, Gene, look, it's a great idea. I love the idea. If we could get a reporter or somebody, even somebody at a town hall, maybe just somebody stand up and say, your bodyguards around here have guns. What makes your life more important than mine? Just as simple as that. Boom. There you go. And then just be quiet, stand there, don't sit down, stand there and look her in the eye. What makes your life more important than mine? I love it, Gene. Great idea. Thank you. Appreciate that call. Line 1, Stanley, Corpus Christi, Texas. Keep it all Texas-based here. Hey, Stanley.
Yes. I have several guns that I have been told might have some extra value on them. And I'm wondering, where could I go or read? What would be a good source that would give some reliable information on the value of these guns?
There is a book that's put out every year, and it's titled The Blue Book of Gun Values. It's a pretty hefty paperback book, and it is the standard that people use when they're looking up what guns are worth. And, of course, it depends upon the range, and it's all about the condition. So they have a description there of the condition of the guns, but almost every gun store I know has a copy of the Blue Book of Gun Values. So if you could either take your guns into a gun store, talk to them about it, or if you could just have a description of them, you could either go into a gun store, or obviously you could get a copy of the book yourself and look them up that way.
Blue Book of Gun Values.
Right. Now, I don't know if you're an internet user, but if you are, you can also go to Blue Book of Gun Values on the web, too, and you can look them up that way, too.
Yeah, we have the internet. Inquire, I guess Google Blue Book would be the...
Let me see. Actually, it's pretty easy. I just looked it up. bluebookofgunvalues.com. It's pretty easy. bluebookofgunvalues.com. And you can put in guns there, and you can actually look them up. So there you go. I wish you luck with it. I think that's terrific. Let me ask you a question. Are you thinking of selling them, or are you just trying to find out what they're worth, just out of curiosity?
No, we've got kids and grandkids. It's just we've used them. They're shotguns, and we've hunted with them. Never thought about it, and then some have said, those things may have some value. So I said, well, maybe I better find out. So, but no.
If for no other reason than just to get them insured, for whatever the value is. So that's the other thing. Homeowners insurance will not cover your guns. There's usually like a $2,000 limit. It doesn't take much in the way of guns to go past that. If you don't have insurance, get a rider for your homeowners or get it through the NRA. That's a pretty good program, a good insurance policy, and it's very affordable. But, the other thing, wow, please, take a minute, actually take some time, take pictures, make a record, and then store them away from your guns, like somewhere else, in the cloud or someplace. That way you've got records of everything you own. 866-TALK-GUN. What's your range report?
Accurate, powerful, consistent. At Double Tap Ammunition, we offer 364 loads in 83 calibers that give you exactly what you've been looking for. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com.
As kids, we learned growing up, if you were going to hunt Webbit,
you had to be very, very quiet. Oh.
At SilencerShop.com, that's what we do. We make guns very quiet with state-of-the-art suppressor technology for every caliber you've got in your safe. From .22s up to the big boys. Minimal noise, less recoil, higher velocity, better accuracy. Do you honestly need another reason to get a silencer?
Oh, ask we Webbit.
Get the facts and get suppressed at SilencerShop.com. Making the world a quieter place.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created Gun Dealio. That's a free, yes, a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? Gun Dealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
Oh boy, coming out of Wisconsin, newsflash. Wisconsin now has, and I sent a tweet out about this, there's no one left alive in Wisconsin. They're all dead. Because they now have 300,000 licensed concealed carry holders. So it must have meant like everybody got wiped out, right? Well, actually, nothing happened. Big surprise, right? Mwah. Oh, man, the news is, Wisconsin reached a major milestone this week. 300,000 of its residents are licensed to carry a concealed firearm. Actually, that's not a bad percentage. What do they say? 8% of the state being licensed to carry permit holders. That's kind of interesting. 8% is higher than we see in most states. Not sure what's going on there, but no, there is no crime wave in Wisconsin. Somebody asked me recently, said, well, are there any stats on concealed carry holders and committing crimes? Yeah, there are. I remember one from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. And of course, Florida's had concealed carry about as long as anybody. And they studied it, and what they came up with was that people who have concealed carry permits, this is at the time, were committing crimes at roughly 1% of that of the general public. That is, if you had a concealed carry permit, you were... Or if you didn't have it, let's do it the other way. If you didn't have a carry permit, you were 100 times more likely to commit a crime than if you did. People get surprised by that and they go, well, why? You checked out when you have the permit. Interesting stuff. Let's see. David, line 2, is in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Hey, David.
Yes. How's your day today?
Great.
I've got a question, and I'm sure I can get an answer from you. My question is, what year did the military stop using corrosive powder in their M1 ammunition?
Ooh. I don't know exactly. First of all, it wasn't corrosive powder. It was corrosive primers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the primers that are the problem, not the powder, because I can't remember exactly what they had in them, mercury or something. In fact, if you have ammo, here's an interesting test for you. If you have ammo and you're not sure if it's corrosive or not, pull a bullet, dump the powder out, put the case in your gun, just the brass with a primer in it, and then take a nice shiny piece of steel that doesn't have oil or anything on it, put the muzzle close to it, pull the trigger of your gun, and then clean your gun thoroughly. Put that little piece of steel out somewhere, wait about a day or two. If it's a corrosive primer, that sucker will just start rusting like crazy. That'll tell you what will happen to your gun inside your gun bore. But it's been, man, I got to think it was probably, somebody's going to help me out on this, pre-World War II? I'm thinking probably pre-World War II or a little bit after, maybe the 50s. Could have been the 1950s when they stopped doing it.
Okay. Well, the situation I've got, I have got a hold of a few rounds of the metal jacket 30-06 ammo, which I use on a Remington automatic, and I'm debating if I shoot that in there, I'll probably wind up taking the gun apart to clean it, right? Or just the barrel?
No, everything. How many rounds did you get of this stuff?
I got probably about, maybe 10, 15 rounds of it.
Oh, Lord, no, don't do that. I mean, why would you take a chance? You're not saving any money. There's you can buy ammo cheap these days. If you're unsure, just go dig a hole, put it inside, and bury it, and, it's gone. Or save it for a cartridge collector. But no, I wouldn't. If you don't know where this came from or what the history of this stuff is, I would not shoot it, period.
It came in a couple of M1 clips is what it came in, and I thought to myself it'd be just good for target shooting. But I was debating about shooting it in that automatic, that semi-automatic rifle, that Remington. I thought maybe I'd wind up, because of the ejection and so on, would I wind up having to take the rifle almost all apart to clean that out, or just the barrel?
If it's corrosive, that stuff's going to get everywhere, yeah. And I personally, I would not do it. For 10 rounds, I mean, if somebody said, okay, here's 10,000 rounds, okay, then I would test it somehow and find out. There you go, 1955, Jim says, NATO stopped using corrosive primers. So I was thinking maybe 50. So 1955 is the number that Jim came up with here.
Okay, I want to ask you one more question. I was under the impression it was the powder, but you say it's the primer. Why would they have used it in the first place? Why would they have used those primers in the first place?
Because it works really well. It's basically, it was good ignition system. It works really well. But at a certain point, they said, okay, this is too much. I mean, it used to be particularly when they were using bolt action rifles. People learned not only to clean their bore, but to take the bolt out of their gun and clean the bolt face and take the bolt apart and, really clean it because that priming compound got everywhere. It was corrosive. So, but yeah, basically that's the deal. They used it because it worked. Let's go to John on 4 in Kansas City. Hey, John, what'd you get here?
Well, a belated Christmas present to me. I picked up a Ruger SP101 4-inch stainless 327 Federal Magnum. And,
sweet.
Yeah. To all your listeners out there, that is a hidden gem out there. Fast. The gun itself is just easy to shoot. It doesn't have the fear factor of a 357 or a 44, etc. going off, and it's just a really nice piece of equipment.
Okay, I got about 30 seconds. Tell me what you shot through it. And I really do mean 30 seconds.
Yeah, want to give a shout-out on the range reports or shout-outs to both crossbreed holsters and then double-tap ammo. I'm shooting double-tap ammo. Since I couldn't make up my mind, I bought both tactical in a 75 grain and the Hunter in a 120 grain. Both just excellent loads. The guys there and gals helped me out really well.
They do a great job at Double Tap. Look, thank you for the report. Yeah, wow. An SP-101, now you got a steel gun, shooting .327. You could also shoot H&R, 32 H&R in it. You'd have no recoil. Shoot the 32 S&W long. It'd be almost negative recoil. It'd be so light. 866 Talk Gun. All right, back with you here. 866 Talk Gun, get you in. Matt's with us out of Corpus Christi on 3. Hello, Matt. What you doing with your gun here, son?
I got a Dan Weston 1911 Valor Commander recently. Proud to say I'm carrying that. And I'm going back and forth between grease and oil on the rails of it. Seems like everybody's got an opinion of it. I'd say yours is a little more influential, so I thought I'd ask.
It's almost like a religious discussion. It's grease or oil. The main thing is to put something on it and then replace it. If you're using a good gun oil, that will work. If you're using a good gun grease, that will work. You know what you ought to do is when you are talking to somebody, ask them what they like, and then whatever it is they say they like, tell them that's what you do too.
Yes, sir.
Just say, if they like grease, say, yeah, I put grease on mine. If they like oil, say, yeah, I put oil on mine. It doesn't matter.
Yes,
just take care of it. Keep it lubed up and keep shooting.
A lot of oil on it here in Corpus.
There you go.
Being right by the bay, so.
Exactly. You got, of course, I will tell you, I do like the Slip 2000 products, and I always ask them, they said, well, it's a funny deal. They said, well, we actually make a grease, but you don't have to. I said, okay, what's the deal? They said, well, we make a grease because some people like grease. Our oil works just as well, but we make the grease just because some people say, I've got to have grease. So they went, oh, well, okay, we'll make the grease too. Okay. Bill's in Liberty, Missouri, line 1. Let's jump over to Bill. Hey, Bill, what you got with your magazine there?
Hey, Tom, I was having some mag problems. I've got a Glock 17, and one of the mags is not working in it. I think it's a copy Glock mag, and then I have an AR, and I'm having problems with the mag in it, but I don't even see a name on the mag on it, but it's
okay.
When it's in the gun will not fire.
Right. I've got a tool that fixes both of those, both the Glock type magazine that's not working and the AR magazine that's not working. You have a toolkit somewhere, a toolbox?
I think I know what you're talking about, a big hammer.
Do you have a really big hammer? Get you a really big hammer, crush those things, throw them away, and then go buy a genuine Glock magazine for your Glock. And then when you want your AR, I will tell you the one I like. P-Mags are good. The Magpul brands are good. But I will tell you, I love the metal magazines made by Brownells. I think they are Brownells. You go to brownells.com, BROWNELLS. I just looked. They've got their AR-15 magazine, 30-rounder quantity discount deal going. So you get, it's got the Magpul follower in it, a metal mag. I like them. They work. They're mil-spec. It's metal. It's not plastic.
Right.
And I will tell you, no, I'm not going to tell you how many I bought. I bought a lot of these things, okay?
Okay.
All right, but no, they're very good. In fact, I remember them telling me they had a contractor supply mags to the military. And they said, man, the military inspectors come in. He said, there's like 100 and something inspection points on a magazine. I said, you got to be kidding. It's a magazine. I said, yeah, no. And it's funny because gun designers will always tell me, say, look, it's a lot harder to design a good magazine than it is a gun. And so how many times do we hear, just like the Bill, I've got this magazine that's not working. Good, understand. Take a hammer to it, smash it, throw it away, go get another one. Magazines are replaceable. They're just accessories to your gun. They're absolutely necessary, but if you know it's causing you a problem, even if it's just a problem now and then and you've tracked it down and it's the mag, throw it away. Unless you want to mark it with a big X and use that for your malfunction drills at the range and say, I'm never going to depend on this other than depending upon it to not work reliably, and then it's a good malfunction drill mag. Otherwise, just get rid of it. Mags are cheap. And, oh, yeah, if you have a semi-automatic gun, you need to have at least a half a dozen and maybe 100 like I do. Be right back.